Do you ever feel like, because you're in a different line. I saw you've been doing some Candace Owens content. You're doing that the rapture guy, that the false prophet. You're all over the board. So where do you have to have a lot of opinions about stuff that's happening, but in a Christ-centered way. So where'd you get that confidence to be able to speak into all these various different things? Because you're not just talking, hip hop or pop culture or even Christian podcasting space. You're kind of all over the map now, which is awesome, because you reach a way wider audience with that.
Yeah, I think confidence is a byproduct of competence. I think you become competent in a topic, or you become competent in expertise, you're going to be more confident in it, right? Like if you guys were like, hey, let's go hoop right now, I wouldn't be very confident. I haven't hooped in a couple years, so I'm not very competent at it, right? But
all right, let's change our plans.
Yeah. But I think it's a byproduct of that. And so, but if you guys were to be like, hey, let's make some protein shakes. Like I'm fairly competent, and I can make you guys a mean protein shake. You know what I mean? Get some peanut butter involved, get some stevia, low calorie, the right protein. I can make a mean protein shake. Why? Because I make protein shakes all the time. I'm confident that I can make a protein shake that you will like, even if you don't normally drink protein shakes, right? Why? Because I do it over and over. So with regards to content, I've been paying attention to politics since high school. Like I remember having a teacher. I had two teachers. I had one teacher, his name was Mr. Hidalgo. He was like a center-left Democrat, and I had another teacher who was my world history teacher, and he was like a Republican. And then I had Tambo, who was my Tamborino, who was a real estate guy, was successful in real estate, was also our English teacher and also the football coach. And so I heard three different perspectives, and I always was fascinated by the different ways people viewed the role of state and government and what are rights and all these things. So I've always kept up. I've been fairly consistent in keeping up. My political views have been all over the spectrum. But the older I've gotten, the more conservative I've gotten. And the more conservative I've gotten, the more I've gotten to this point of like, hey, like there's no one coming to rescue you. Yeah. Like Jesus came, lived the life you couldn't live, died the death you should have died on the cross in your place for your sins. He's created a pathway, he saved you and justified you, but no one's coming to fix your problems. The government's not coming, the state's not coming, no party is coming, Trump's not coming, no one's coming to fix your problems. So with regards to the latest kind of conversations lately, is what I'm starting to see is the same victim mentality that slid into the left, which then sparked the critical theorist, Marxist, BLMs movement, right? Where we're like, yeah, like we're burning stuff down because we're angry. Like you understand, you're hurting more black businesses, right? Like that mindset is now creeping in on the right. Except it's not the system and the government, it's the Jews,
foreign affairs,
and the foreign affairs, and Israel, and the blacks, and the immigrants. They're taking all the jobs, and that's why I can't get ahead. So what am I going to do? I'm going to sit around and watch Nick Fuentes and Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson all day, and I'm just going to listen to them stream and play video games. And it's like, dude, that's a recipe for disaster, and it's all over the right in terms of this woke right that I'm seeing, right? It's the exact same thing. It's like the horseshoe theory, where like they both hate Israel, like they both see themselves as victims. They both think someone is going to come and save them.
Now there's cancel culture.
Right? So unless you have their exact views on Israel, you're a shill.
Yeah.
And I mean, dude, I'm not even that pro-Israel. Like I've had multiple conversations of like, yo, they did this and this was wrong. The day October 7th happened, I said, oh, this is not going to be good because Israel's heavy-handed when it comes to Palestine. And I got torched by Christians saying that the day it happened. So I'm not even like this super pro-Israel guy. I'm more pro-Israel than I am pro-Hamas or pro-whatever they're trying to do. But every time I say anything remotely critical of that position, it's, hey, did Israel pay you to say this? Hey, did they send you a check?
I saw your video where you're like, I did not receive compensation.
I have never received the dime. I've been to one trip to Israel, and I was the guy on the trip challenging their narrative. Like, why do you guys keep having settlers in these Palestinian neighborhoods? What are you guys doing? Like, I was literally the one. You could ask my pastor. You could ask Mike Signorelli. I was the one guy pushing back. So this idea that I'm like this Zionist shill because I'm critical of Candace Owens, Nick Fuentes' views, which I call Israel derangement syndrome, right? Like instead of being mad at the IDF, you should be mad at the IDS, which is your Israel derangement system. You're cooked, bro. Everything is the Zionist. Everything is Israel. So I'm seeing that on the right, and I'm going, oh, like these dudes are gonna have a hard time adjusting to reality, right?
Do you think there's a lot of deception versus validity to it? Like, where are you at? Have you seen any validity to their arguments, or is it straight up just like?
I think there's a validity to all kinds of things. I think the validity of like, hey, this IDF mission, they were sloppy. This IDF mission, I had my buddy Emmanuel Roro who served in the IDF. His brother's currently in IDF. Why did they go in there and accidentally kill their own prisoners that escaped? There was some hostages that escaped, Israeli hostages, waving white flags, and the IDF shot them. Like, what are they doing? Like, they're either really incompetent because a lot of these kids, they're like 20, 21 years old with machine guns, right? Or they're just reckless. And if that's how they're treating their own hostages, how could they be treating the Palestinians? So yes, I think there's validity to it. Is there validity to this shadowy cabal of Zionists who, pull on the strings of the world? Like,
the blackmail side.
Yeah. Like George Soros and Dennis Prager couldn't be farther apart on any issue, and they're both Jewish. Jewish people are a monolith. So I think what happens is there's this hasty generalization fallacy where you take too small of a sample size and then you spread it out and you say, see, these people are trying to destroy the world, and it's like, no, there's leftist crazy folks that are Jewish. There's folks on the far right and the ultra orthodox that are Jewish. But all of the extreme views have issues with them. But generally, Benjamin Netanyahu is not popular in Israel. That's like, people are just speaking on stuff they don't know. Like, Israel was on the verge of like civil unrest prior to October 7th. He was not a popular candidate. So like, you're mad about this dude. Like, they don't really like that dude. Like, their own government doesn't like that dude. So that's what I mean. It's like, but the line in the sand for me is, does Israel have a right to exist? And if you can't say yes emphatically to that, then I have some serious issues with your worldview, because they're not going anywhere, right? And it's not just America first. I think it's America first and our strategic allies in parts of the world. Now, again, we can point to a myriad of cases and be like, that was wrong. But you know what was also really wrong? A lot of the stuff that Americans did in Iraq, a lot of the stuff that we did in Afghanistan was also really wrong. We just didn't have social media back then, right?
We went to everything.
Yeah, we went to Iraq because they had weapons of mass destruction, and they didn't. Like, they just flat out didn't.
For 20 years, we looked for them.
For 20 years, we looked for these. Yeah. So I think now it's like you're holding Israel to a standard that you cannot hold any other modern military to within modern history ever.
Well said.
Yeah, and so yeah, man, like it's going to be messy, but Hamas isn't complicit in this. Hamas isn't using human shields. Hamas isn't putting stuff in hospitals. Hamas isn't stealing the aid that's going into Gaza and then trying to sell it back to the poor Palestinians. Like, really, like, so that's what I mean is like, man, like, not to oversimplify it, but this was said on Joe Rogan. Like, if Hamas were to put down their guns right now, what would happen? There would be peace in the land. If Israel were to put down their guns right now, what would happen? A genocide on Jewish people. Like, that's what would happen. And so that's to me where it comes down. Now, again, is there validity? Can we find one thing that says, yes, it's a very complicated,
of course,
very messy situation. So anyway, so why am I speaking on that? Well, because I've been there and I push back, and I'm not a Zionist shill. But I will say I'm 51%. Well, probably more than 51% of like, I think Israel has the right to defend themselves. I think radical Islam is substantially more dangerous to Western civilization and Christianity than Zionism. And I think like our focus isn't towards what it should be. It's friendly fire. We're wounding our own. And Israel's way more ideological, and they're a secular state, and abortion is legal, and gay stuff is legal, and they're not Christian or Jewish in my opinion either. But they're more aligned with where we are. Whereas, like, bro, the number one boy's name in Britain last year was Muhammad.
Yeah, so they're being infiltrated.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
Like, there's a gajillion mosques being built. There's churches shutting down all over. That's coming to America, bro.
Yeah, it's already here.
I
mean,
then so what are we going to do with that?
Yeah. I mean, I love that you speak into all those things because, obviously there's the sticky side of it where you're like, yo, what's going on with Justin Bieber right now? Like, what does Ruslan think about Justin Bieber?
Yeah.
But then you have like that side of it where you're like, yo, Candace Owens is getting a lot of attention about this narrative about the Charlie Kirk assassination. And it's been nice to be able to like hear, your thoughts on it and be able to like speak some truth in it and like help us kind of stay, not drinking the Kool-Aid essentially.
Yeah. And listen, at the end of the day, like let's just say I conceded every single conspiracy and every single thought Nick Fuentes and Candace Owens and the woke right. So let's just for the sake of this conversation, let's say I grant everything. Just like, let's just say I granted every single talking point from the left about systemic racism and about the patriarchy and filling it. Like, just say I grant, At the end of the day, no one's coming to save you. At the end of the day, you're not overthrowing any government. At the end of the day, you are in control of what you're in control of. And it's healthy for all of us to take agency and responsibility for what we can, radical accountability for the things that we can control, and say, let me lean into this and control what I can control, my daily non-negotiables. Incremental investments lead to monumental advancements. I'm going to control what I can control. I can't control what's happening in Israel. I can't control what's happening with the systems of America, right? You can't control any of that. So that's what I'm saying. Like, even if I were to grant any single point, the solutions would still be the same. But the thing is, when you're a content creator, I've seen the dark side of this. You want people watching. You want people watching longer. Here's the issue. The longer they watch, the less they get after what God's calling them to do, right? The average person consumes 7 hours in America, 7 hours of media passively. I'm not talking education. I'm not talking work. I'm talking on their phones between Netflix, YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. 7 hours a day. That's 50 hours a week. Who is that benefiting? That's benefiting the hyper creatives. That's benefiting guys like me. That's benefiting guys like Candace Owens. Girls like Candace Owens, Nick Fuentes. They're printing money over there, right?
Yeah.
So it's not in their best interest to tell you, hey man, like, you actually need to put your phone down and pick up a book and get in your Bible and get into church. Like, and I'm not even telling people stop being on social media. I'm saying cut it in half. I bet we go from 50 hours a week to 20 hours a week.
And allocate that other 4 hours to pursue your dreams.
What would happen if you did that? And not just pursue your dreams. How about keep track of what you're eating? How about keep track of your budget? How about get out of debt? How about go to the gym? How about go outside and touch grass?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's well said. Do you ever feel like, because you are talking about all these prolific people and whatnot, have you ever seen any of that smoke come back onto you, as far as like, because you're rubbing shoulders with a lot of guys that are highly influential, and do they ever see your videos and, like, you know, have beef with you essentially? No. Any person that I've spoken about publicly, I've asked to speak to privately. So whether that's a celebrity pastor, I don't really speak about celebrity pastors much, but whether that's a celebrity pastor, Carl Lentz, Stephen Furtick, again, I haven't talked about Furtick in years, but I've always asked to speak to them privately. I've always reached out first. Candace Owens, Nick Fuentes. I've been asking Nick Fuentes to debate me since 2022. Wow. Before he was popping. I've been asking to have a conversation with Candace Owens since like 2021. Wow. Right? So every single person no, because it doesn't make sense, right? Because they want to maintain frame, and why would they put themselves in a situation where their ideas can be stress tested when it's way more entertaining to just scream and gish gallop on Piers Morgan? Yeah, wow. So you think you got the confidence to go into a debate with these folks that you mentioned? I mean, I debated Destiny on No Jumper. I didn't see that. You know, I debated Rollo Tomasi on Valuetainment Money. You know, and I'm not saying like I'm this master debater. But you're willing to get in the ring. I'm willing to get in the ring, and I held my own. And if you give me time to prep, I'm decent at retaining information. I can read. I can cognitively process these things. So yeah, I mean, I'm down to have a conversation with any of them. It doesn't serve them. Why would Candace Owens sit down with little old me? Like, it doesn't make sense to position her in a situation where her ideas can be stress tested. Wow, that's real. Hey, thank you so much for watching this video all the way to the end. If you liked it, then hit the like button. If you liked it a lot and have a thought to share, leave a comment. If you are listening to this on the podcast app, make sure to leave a review, and you could even leave a comment over there. And if you want to watch another video that is recommended just for you, hit this video over here. Let me know if they nailed it. Also, you can partner with us monthly, which helps us out a lot in our monthly community. Get access to early drops and all that kind of good stuff over here. All right, I'll see you over there. Peace.